Hello horror movie lovers, I'm Trenton and I love movies just like you, obviously. So I watched The Cleansing Hour because...
Am I going to starve if I don't take a bath? Am I going to die if I don't take a bath?
My expectations were neutral, leaning towards high. I found the overall concept to be quite interesting, but that's all I knew about the movie, the concept and the poster. Didn't watch a trailer or anything, so I went in somewhat blind. But did the movie meet my expectations? It was so close. It was so close, but as the movie progressed, it got worse and worse. This is so frustrating. This is so frustrating.
Everyone's entitled to one good scare.
Two millennial entrepreneurs stage elaborate fake exorcisms on social media until one of their girlfriends becomes possessed by a demon. The first half of this video will be spoiler free, then the last half will contain spoilers. Don't worry, I will give you a warning before we enter spoiler territory. The characters were hot as but so uninteresting. They were trying so hard to make you feel a specific type of way for each character, but it never landed. Drew, played by Kyle Gallner, one of my husbands, and Max, played by Ryan Guzman, my newest husband, were both so uninteresting. I didn't feel for either one of them whatsoever. They needed more development. They had very surface level development in the sense that you had a general idea for the type of person both of them are, but that's it. Nothing more than that. Lane, the one that gets possessed and needs to be exorcised, was okay, but also uninteresting like the other two. There's literally no development when it comes to her character throughout the movie. Before the possession, she's okay, and during the possession, she's also just okay. I didn't feel anything for her, to be honest. The story is generic, but also unique at the same time. Generic in the sense that it's your stereotypical exorcism horror movie, but they implement a social media element that I found to be quite interesting. Conceptually, I like the story, but the delivery was so underwhelming. I am so frustrated. The writing was bad. It has its moments where I genuinely really like the writing, but then there would also be moments that were just so stupid. Majority of the movie isn't fueled by stupid decisions that the characters make, but then all of a sudden in the third act, it pulls a full 180 and everyone just turns stupid and starts making every possible bad decision there is to make. The cinematography is fine. The movie is dark visually, which I do like. The movie does have somewhat of its own personality in terms of the visual aspects, which is a positive for a movie, majority of the time, but there isn't anything necessarily unique when it comes to shot composition, camera movements, etc. The effects are definitely hit or miss. When they're practical, they actually look really good, but when it comes to the VFX that are heavily used, it looks so bad at times. There's one scene in particular that I laughed out loud at how bad it looked, while other times it looked fine and serviceable. The makeup during the exorcism scenes looked I don't know. I'm not really a fan of it. It doesn't necessarily look bad, but also doesn't look good, in my opinion. The tone is... I don't even know. Majority of the time, exorcism movies in general are so unserious, specifically when it comes to the demon taking over the body of the host and saying the most out-of-pocket shit. I always find it funny, but I'm pretty sure that's the intention, is it not? A clear example of this is The Exorcist from 1974. Obviously, during the time the movie was first released, I could see how people would find it scary, but when I watched it, I literally couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a horror movie or a dark comedy. It is so unserious with the shit that Reagan says and always has me dying of laughter. Tonally, the same could be said about this movie though. The stuff the demon would say didn't land for me personally. You can tell when the movie was trying to be funny or serious, but I didn't find it funny nor scary or intimidating. I literally didn't think anything of it. The movie is around 90 minutes and thankfully it does go by pretty quickly. The pace in which all the supernatural events happen is also quick. The movie breezed by. If the movie was any longer, I probably wouldn't have been able to get through it due to how frustrating the movie progressively got. The life lesson that I learned after watching The Cleansing Hour was that watching live streams will get you killed, so I'm gonna start watching that. Overall, the movie was disappointing and solidifies even more why I don't like exorcism movies. I have yet to find one that I actually love and really enjoy. I'm gonna have to give The Cleansing Hour a 4.5 out of 10, could have been a 5 or possibly a 5.5 if the third act wasn't shit. We are now entering spoiler territory. If you haven't seen The Cleansing Hour, watch it, then come back to the video, or if you simply don't care about spoilers, keep on watching. In this portion portion of the video, I break down the movie, go more in depth with my likes and dislikes, as well as my favorite scene, favorite kill, and least favorite kill. Again, we are now entering spoiler territory. Childhood friends Max and Drew host The Cleansing Hour, a popular live stream show where Father Max exorcises a possessed person during each episode. In reality, each possession is fake, as they are carefully scripted and orchestrated to entice viewers to like and follow their videos and purchase goods. Max is obsessed with drawing as large a crowd as possible and gaining a bigger following. Drew's fiancée Lane is unhappy but supportive, even going so far as to agree to step in as the possessed person when the actor for their current episode doesn't show. The opening scene with the fake exorcism was actually quite good, but when you really start to think about it, there is absolutely no way that they would be able to achieve all of this live. If it was an edited video, I could see how, but realistically, there's no way to achieve all of that in the span of an hour-long live stream without having to cut and without something not going as planned. I will say that the first act actually had me intrigued in anticipating what was to come later in the film. As the stream starts, it becomes clear that Lane has become truly possessed. The demon kills the crew members one by one, eventually leaving just Drew and Max alive. She also forces both of them to confess to every secret he has hidden away. This begins with Max confessing that the show is fake, but as the stream continues, he confesses to accidentally murdering a nun while he was a schoolboy. Both he and Drew attended the same Catholic church as children, where they were frequently beaten by a sadistic nun while she castigated them for real or imagined sins. During one particularly bad beating, Max killed her in order to save Drew, an experience that scarred and followed him throughout his entire life. He also confesses that he was once a priest, but that he left after witnessing the various abuses of the Catholic priesthood that remained unchecked and unpunished. He then launched the show thinking that it wouldn't hurt anyone. I was genuinely shocked that Max actually did have an understanding of religion. I was fully expecting him to not have a clue of what he was talking about and not being religious at all, just doing these live streams to profit off of people who were. But when they kept showing flashbacks of him and Drew at a Catholic school when they were younger and showing that he actually does have an understanding of the concept of religion, again, I was genuinely not expecting that. As the viewer count rises, Drew realizes that the demon is using the stream for its own purposes and cuts the feed, assuming that its desire is to humiliate the Catholic Church. He reconnects the feed after identifying the demon as Amen, using various hints in its speech throughout the stream on a database. The demon then forces one final revelation, that Max and Lane had previously slept together prior to her meeting Drew. This truth almost derails everything, but the rising viewer count causes them to remember to perform the exorcism rites. The demon is driven from Lane. However, the entire process has left Max and Drew's friendship shattered. This tenuous peace is short-lived, as the demon reappears in front of the trio to reveal that it tricked them. It was never Amen but Lucifer himself, and it possessed Lane in order to gain access to the stream and possess all of the current watchers, which now numbers over 17 million. The possessed viewers attack everyone around them, including the President of the United States by his son, one of the many viewers. Then the movie ends. Pretty much every character other than the ones I mentioned in the non-spoiler section are completely pointless. The guy that got lit on fire is somewhat of an exception because he was the first actual victim and didn't know what the fuck was going on. There was a previous victim before that incident, Dante, who was headed to set in the one that was supposed to be fake exorcised because they wanted shock value. Don't know how I feel about that.
Shock value.
But they get attacked by another demon already roaming around, I guess. There was literally no explanation of why they got attacked or what attacked them. It just felt like a lazy way to get Lane in the chair for the fake exorcism. And well, we know how that turned out. Also, Riley, who was part of the crew witnessing the supernatural events, the demon telling them that if they make a run for it, they'll die, and not too long after, her saying F it and making a run for it only to be killed directly after. Like, did you think the demon was joking? I don't understand what she was thinking. The third act has to be the most frustrating and infuriating part of the movie. Not in its entirety, but specifically the part where the demon makes Lane admit to her boyfriend, Drew, that she slept with his best friend, resulting in Drew and Max getting into a fight while the demon is just sitting there. This part alone is what solidified the movie's fate in my eyes. Supernatural events have been happening throughout the night, your cast and crew have died, and you are seriously fighting over a girl instead of dealing with the demon. Like, are you serious? Now is not the time. That shit pissed me the off. It's like the writer of the movie wanted there to be conflict between the characters so bad and thought of the stupidest, most underwhelming and uninteresting way for it to happen. I cannot take this movie seriously. The ending itself I didn't mind, even though it was extremely predictable. 15 million plus people watching a live stream at the same time, which is already unrealistic, but the fact that there's that many people watching was a clear setup that the demon would somehow transfer itself through the viewer's devices and possess them, like it did with Lane. The ending of this movie reminded me of the ending of another movie that I won't name, but it ends pretty much the same way that this one does. The CGI fire looked absolutely terrible. I could not stop laughing when that whole scene happened, like the CGI dog-esque looking creatures that were surrounding Chris looked straight out of a PS2 game. The cables wrapping around Drew as he was trying to type the demon's name on the monitor looked so wacky. I couldn't help but laugh at that as well. The demon's true form was I don't know. I didn't really like it. I found it to be such an underwhelming reveal and looked quite generic to me. I honestly preferred just the look of the demon taking over the burnt guy's body as opposed to its true form. The practical gore that was present looked good. The cloth or that bag, whatever the that was coming out of Lane's throat, the shedding of the burnt guy's skin, etc. actually looked really good and made me feel sick in a good way, of course. My favorite scene would have to be Chris getting surrounded by those devil dog looking things, getting attacked by one, stabbing at the dog, but in reality he was just stabbing himself from the perspective of the other characters. The CGI was obviously questionable, but in this specific scene I didn't mind it as much due to them not actually being real and all in Chris's head. My least favorite scene would definitely have to be the whole cheating subplot, so predictable, annoying, and so unnecessary. That's the main aspect that ruined the movie for me personally. My favorite kill would also be Chris stabbing himself and slitting his throat thinking the devil dogs were attacking him. Normally I wouldn't have my favorite scene and favorite kill be the same scene, but there really isn't many aspects that I liked about the movie other than this scene and a couple other aspects. My least favorite kill would have to be Riley's. I mean, fuck this. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos from me, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Alright, horror movie lovers, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.